Okay, good afternoon and welcome. The Modern Eater Show continues. It is a Monday. It's Monday, April 27th, and welcome. Boy, did you tune in at the right time. What a great show ahead for you today. And also, free groceries. This is all you have to do. Today's giveaway is sponsored by Levers Locavore. $50 gift certificate. And Jay, guess what you have to do? It's very easy.
What do you have to do?
Well, we just want people to go see our YouTube page. We're streaming live on YouTube now, but most people know that we just go on Facebook. So if you go over to our YouTube page, we would love if you would subscribe to our YouTube page and then just comment in today's live video. We'll randomly select somebody, and that's for you. Nice Levers Locavore $50 gift certificate. We will get a hold of the winner. So thank you guys for tuning in today as our audience is joining us, and liking and sharing is always good. Chef Dan Asher is going to be on the show in just a moment. Chef Daniel Asher, he's a great friend. He's a great chef, and probably one of the most beloved chefs in the city. We're going to catch up with Chef Asher here momentarily. Chef Josh Ford and Kevin Galaba from Friends and Family, Lost City and Denver Metro Emergency Food Network. They're doing some good things, and Chef Josh Ford's going to join us at 2:45. At 3:15, another chef. We're lining him up today. Chef Marta Biasotti. You knew her from Liberati's. Chef is going to cook something for us today in her kitchen. 3:30, Larry Herz from OCN Eats, and then 3:45, Dr. Sara Metz from Code 4 Counseling. That'll round off the show. In the meantime, today's theme is kind of like reopening. Everybody's anxious to see what a restaurant's going to look like when they reopen. Today in Georgia being one of the first states in the union to actually open restaurants back up. So folks are starting to see a little bit of movement that way, but proceed with caution is what the National Restaurant Association would tell you. And COVID-19 reopening guidance is something that just came down the pipeline. We're going to go over a little bit of this guidance, and I actually find it to be pretty refreshing. 10 pages, cut and clear, and again, it's just guidance. It's recommendations, but safety is at the top of the list. The man of the hour right now, he joins me via FaceTime, and I get to see him right now for the first time in many, many months. Chef Dan Asher, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm great. How are you? Good to see you. So good to see you.
I'm well, too. Oh, man. Just seeing your face always makes me smile. Let's dig in.
Likewise.
So lots to talk about now. We've been broadcasting Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m., and then Saturday is our regular Saturday show, which you know from 6 to 8 p.m. on iHeartRadio. So we kind of quadrupled our efforts to keep people connected.
That's great.
That Monday, the 16th of March, it came down the pipe. The mayor said, we're going to shut down dining rooms all over, and dining rooms did shut down. So let's just begin with you. We'll do the original reaction and sound off, but Oshkara, River and Woods, and Mother Tongue. Talk about those projects and really those pivot points of what you had to start out with.
Well, sure. Yeah, it was, definitely something that there had been some dialogue beforehand that this was kind of a natural progression with what was happening with the pandemic. And we, had a short window of time to figure out what exactly the best strategy would be. The food scene in Colorado is extremely collaborative and has a tremendous level of honest and open dialogue. So there was, immediate, discussions going on as to what everyone was going to be doing, what the plan was, what the best course of action was going to be. And there's a lot of tremendous resources. Eat Denver has been absolutely phenomenal as far as support and connection points. The James Beard Foundation has been amazing with kind of creating awareness of what other restaurants in other parts of the country are doing and how to keep that in perspective and have some sort of reference point for what the new normal was going to look like as we were navigating that phase. Broadway Market had decided to close operations entirely, so that basically put Mother Tongue in a position of immediately closing. We had recently opened up a restaurant in Ketchum, Idaho, called Barrio 75, the taco and tequila spot that we had literally opened 5 weeks prior. And that whole community had basically shut down immediately, so that closed that restaurant as well. tributary, the food hall in Golden. We had to make some decisions as to what that was going to become. That is, not a traditional food hall where you have this giant open seating space. It's more intimate and much smaller as far as square footage goes. So it was easy to keep that open with a to-go curbside model from all the vendors there. And that was a pretty great way to shift immediately into a mode that everyone was on board with. And then that changed models a couple times from that point. But if we're just talking about that initial week, Ashkara switched to a collaboration experience between Ashkara and Bardo, kind of a shared kitchen space to have a couple different menu offerings coming out of the same kitchen, also to go and delivery focused. But Ashkara dining room and restaurant itself was pressed pause. And then River and Woods, we took about 24 hours to completely redesign the menu into a take and bake home meal kit model, kind of like a hybrid between a restaurant meal and like something that Green Chef or Blue Apron would be doing as far as to your doorstep, a delivered meal with instructions that you unpack and then make dinner in about 30 minutes. And that's kind of where it all started. The tragedy above and beyond the health concerns of what was unfolding was having to, lay off so many staff and have these very difficult conversations about what the unknown future looked like and what we were able to do. I mean, when you look at a business model of a restaurant, which is extremely challenging from a financial standpoint to keep going for a long period of time without immediate revenue. The whole model of a restaurant is designed on cash flow and day-to-day service. You literally exist week to week. And this is how decisions are made. This is how bills are paid. This is how terms are set up with vendors. To have a net 30 term, you're getting in product. You've got, X number of days to move that product and sell it and create revenue and engaged hospitality experiences with your guests, and then those bills come due and they have to be paid, and the whole cycle restarts itself. So you're dealing with a business model that already has very tiny little fractions of profitability. It's very much an industry that is focused on love and taking care of strangers, to be quite honest. That's really what it's about. Someone shows up at your door and they're hungry and they're thirsty and you feed them. Someone spends $20 on a plate of food and a beverage. If you get $2 out of that transaction that goes back into infrastructure and equipment maintenance, et cetera, then you're doing pretty good. So, sub 10% profitability is extremely challenging from the get-go. When you enter into a situation where your dining rooms are shut down and your traffic flow reduces and your volume becomes minimized to 80% reduction in what business was considered normal the week before, that becomes a pretty code red scenario, which is what led to the entire industry reaching a very critical point, which has been at since that moment in time, with a huge number of not just unemployed, amazingly beautiful and talented people through no fault of their own suddenly being presented with the fact that they don't have a job to return to. But the entire industry itself kind of coming to a total standstill, with a lot of restaurants choosing to close entirely and wait this out. A lot of industries shift, a lot of locations shifting to some sort of model of just focusing on delivery. A lot of restaurants aren't even set up to do anything along those lines, and it's so much to figure out, from packaging to the portion sizes to the way things are going to be reheated to how things will travel. There's a lot that goes into figuring out what a dine-in restaurant experience will look, taste, and feel like when you shift to a to-go and delivery only experience. So a lot of places just couldn't do that, and it just didn't make sense. It wasn't logical. It wasn't. There just wasn't enough time. Some places closed for a week and then took that time to regroup and then reopen. It was a tremendous level of chaos and challenge and pain, and sadness is really what it came down to. And the most traumatizing part of it is that the whole purpose of a restaurant is to create a social space that engages people. And the entire model that we shifted to of physical distancing basically took away that whole opportunity to connect with people. I mean, it's literally called touching a table when you check on a guest, right? Where you're like, oh, can you go touch table 42? Make sure they're enjoying everything. Or, table 33 had a question about, the soup, and you literally touch the table. That's what it is. So we entered this whole touchless, no contact experience. And that literally takes like 80% of the entire restaurant and hospitality vibration away. And then it's a loss of control. Like you can't, food's leaving. I don't know who's eating it. I don't know what their experience is. I don't know how they're preparing it. I don't know if things are going to be overcooked or undercooked or not tossed with the right sauce or not plated in a certain way. You lose all sense of this obsessive need to make everything have a beautiful rhythm and a beautiful expression, and all that is gone, and you just are basically like, here's this, I hope you like it, I hope it turns out the way you were anticipating. And that's a huge shift for what restaurants are. If you're a delivery pizza place, I don't think this was obviously with the change in volume, that's a huge shift. But as far as the guest interaction experience goes, if I had a takeaway and delivery pizza place and I was told we have to lock our door to guests and we can just do takeaway and delivery, that's not going to blow my mind too much. I'm just going to be sending out boxes